Hey guys, I have a new knife review for you today. We're talking about a new SOG fixed blade. Here's the box right here. I'm actually going to be reviewing, as the title suggests, the mini Pentagon. Very cool knife. Let's take it out of the box here. Okay, so we have the knife itself in a cardboard sleeve. We have the molded Kydex belt or boot sheath. And then, of course, paperwork. And SOG always sends these nice fold-out. I guess you would consider this a mini catalog of some of their different knives in their line. So it's pretty cool. So when you get your new knife, you can browse through and see if there's anything else you like. Okay, so let me put that to the side here. Okay, so here's the knife. Take off the cover here. Now, the first thing you'll notice here is this is a double-edged knife. Okay, it's sharpened on both sides. Okay, this side here you have a plain edge, and the reverse side you have a partial serrated, partial plain edge. Okay, of course, you know, you want to look at your local laws. Double-edged knives are prohibited in some areas, so you know, please just be aware of your not just your state laws, but a lot of times, you know, if something's allowed in your state, it may be prohibited in your specific city or town. So you know, you just want to be good about knowing your law. Fantastic little knife, awesome fixed blade. This is it's actually a pretty versatile knife by design. It's really, I think, made to be a defensive knife, a good backup knife, because it does have the clip on here. You can use this in your boot. It has some eyelets here. You can wear this around the neck if you want to use a neck knife. But that's its main purpose, really, is a backup defensive blade. You could, of course, use this for EDC. Being that it's double-edged, you have to be very aware of that at all times. Okay, when you're doing something. So if you're, let's say, doing a pull cut, you have rope or something wrapped around. When you pull, be aware that the other side's sharpened as well. But you certainly can do a lot of your EDC tasks. When I usually when I EDC a fixed blade, and I carry a fixed blade daily, which I usually go with folders. If I do go with a fixed blade, something of this size is actually perfect. It's not too small, it's not too large. You can wear it comfortably. People don't really get scared by it. You can't really pull the, you know, the Crocodile Dundee with the huge fixed blade on your side. I mean, it really depends on where you live, but for the most part, you can. Not unless you're really, you know, out in the country or on a ranch or something. So anyway, let me go over some specs on this knife. The blade is an AUS 8. A lot of you guys are familiar with that. Definitely has some pros and some cons. Some pros is it's very it's soft, so it's easy to sharpen. It won't hold an edge, as well as some of the higher end steels. But of course, this knife reflects that in the price. It's a very affordable knife. So AUS 8. It's actually it's powder coated. The coating on the blade, which I actually prefer. There's a lot of different blade coatings. It's going to be maybe hard to pick up in this video, but it's a very nice medium gray in color, kind of I guess a gunmetal gray. But powder coating is actually pretty durable, and I prefer it whenever I do see it on knives. A couple other companies do it, but I thought that was a nice little touch. Of course, you see the logo, the base of the blade here on the tang. But anyway, yeah, it's an AUS 8 blade. Now, the blade length is 3.5 inches long. That's the full blade. It's only sharpened from here up, though. Okay, this point right here. And excuse me just a second. Let me grab a ruler here, and I'll measure the actual cutting edge for you. The cutting edge on both sides looks to be exactly 2.5 inches long. Okay, so the blade itself is 3.5 inches. Now, little side note: if you know, as far as legalities go, where you're, you know, wherever you live. If a police officer, if someone has to measure the blade, they're not going to measure just what's sharpened. You may say, well, you know, this is only a 2.5 inch blade because that's what's sharp. Technically, anything above the handle to the very point is blade. Okay, so for the law purposes, this is a 3.5 inch blade length. Okay, the overall length from the very tip to the bottom of the handle is 7.75 inches. Okay, so it's still somewhat compact for a fixed blade. It's only 3.3 ounces, which is actually fantastic for you know, for a knife of this size. Really nice, comfortable handle. The handle is actually a craton. It's really comfortable to use. The guard here is actually it's got a little bit of a give, okay, so you can really get your thumb in there to get a really good grip on this. A downside, I would say, to this knife is the jimping here on both sides. Hopefully you can, let me grab my jeweler's loop. Give me just a second here. One thing I wanted to point out here is that the jimping tapers down, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And it's on both sides. Let me get you in close here. Okay, you can see there's the spine of the blade. Now as you go up the jimping, you see how it thins out. Starts off a little bit thicker, thins out a little bit, and then you have your cutting edge right there. The only downside I see is that if you are using the jimping, you can get awfully close to that cutting edge and not realize it. Okay, right now it looks like I may be holding the blade, but it's actually where the jimping ends. And the word jimping is, you hear that term a lot. All that is it's also known as file work, just cutouts on the spine. It really just helps to give you grip. Okay, so if you want to do some detailed cutting or have more control over that blade, pointer finger or thumb, it won't slip easily. Now that is on both sides, but like I said, more so on the plain edge side here, you can get awfully close to that blade edge and not know it. So just be aware of that if you do decide to use this knife in that manner. However, I don't think that you really even have to use that, because you can use this the guard here as somewhat of a thumb ramp, and that's how I would use this knife. Is just if I'm just going to choke up on it, I would choke up with like this, okay, and use it in this grip here. But fantastic knife. That's the only critique or criticism I can put on this knife. It's got a big old lanyard hole, very accommodating for your 550 cord or anything really. If you do decide to put a lanyard on there. The Kraton grip is very comfortable. You see this a lot of companies using these these days. It's got a nice textured pattern on it. I can get you in close on here. It is very comfortable to hold at the handle, but it's not too grippy like sandpaper-ish where you might be uncomfortable or your skin may be irritated by it. You can really kind of be rough with this knife and be comfortable in your hand. You're not going to get blisters or anything like that. Let's see, the price on this, the retail price is $85. However, if you purchase online and look around, you can get this on average between $40 and $50, which I think is a very reasonable price for this knife. Again, depending on how you're going to put this knife into play, it would make a nice collectible knife. You can use this certainly for a defensive blade if you need be. Like I said, or you can use it for in everyday cutting tasks. That's what EDC stands for. You get that question a lot. It just stands for everyday carry. Basically just a utility knife. Whatever you may need a blade for throughout your day, at work or home. This would certainly handle it. Again, just be very aware of that second edge. Okay, it is double-edged. Because it is sharpened on both sides, you have a nice acute point here. It makes for a very good penetrating blade. Any double-sided blade will penetrate pretty well. So if you need to use this for stabbing, it's very comfortable in the reverse grip here. And you do have that texturing all the way around. So pretty much anywhere you're going to hold this knife, it's going to be comfortable for you. Fantastic blade. Again, this is the Kydex sheath that comes with it. It does have the belt clip on there. Belt clip is molded into the sheath. I guess that's the only other downside really, is that you cannot remove this. It's not removable. It's very flexible. I can't really see this snapping off unless you were just negligent and really just torqued on that really hard. But this is great for inside the waistband carry. Again, if you want to wear this in a boot, for boot carry, make an excellent boot knife. Something to just carry around, just kind of forget about, and in the heat of the moment, if you need a knife, you got it there down by your foot. Fits in pretty snugly. It doesn't really snap in like some Kydex sheets. It kind of just, you kind of feel where it stops. You can see where the plastic's molded out there. So it is actually quite quiet to use to get in and out of the sheath. But it is very secure. It's not going to fall out. You can shake this, till the end of the day, and it's not going to go anywhere. It's very secure. And again, you do have those two eyelets, so you can put some paracord on here and wear it as a neck knife. You can get pretty creative. I mean, with fixed blades like this, if I'm going to wear it around the waist and I want to wear it horizontally, like so, what I would do with this one is put a little paracord through here, or whatever kind of cord you may have, and just make a little loop and put 2 knots on the end so that you have a little loop here. You can put your belt right through that loop, and then of course you can use the belt clip to clip onto one of the belt loops on your pants, whether it's cargo pants or jeans or what have you. So although it doesn't look like you can wear this horizontally, you can. And just like I said, just got to be a little creative with it. There is a drainage hole on the back of the sheath here, okay, which is great. So if you get water in your sheath, it's not going to sit there and damage your blade. It will drain out. Sorry about that, guys. My battery just died. I said pretty much everything I wanted to say about the knife. I still think it's a fantastic little blade, especially for the price, under 50 bucks. Most places, again, it depends on where you're shopping. But I wanted to add this little section here. I have some regular standard cardboard. I just want to do some cutting tests for you and talk just a little bit about the serrations. Now with this knife, you have the option of using the fully plain edge side or the partial serrated edge side. A lot of times when people ask me about knives, they always ask, should I get plain edge or serrated? Well, they both have their pros and their cons. Some say a plain edge blade can do everything a serrated blade can do. But in a pinch, a serrated blade, a good sharp serrated blade like this one, really can do a lot of damage. And what I mean by damage is it can really make short work of cutting very fibrous things, such as material, ropes, fabric, such as clothing. So when you see like EMT guys and emergency personnel, a lot of times you see serrations on their blades because, again, they got to make quick work of fibrous materials. So I just want to show you a demo of me cutting this cardboard with the plain edge blade as opposed to the serrated blade. So now when I cut with the serrated blade, what's going to happen is if I use the whole edge, it's probably going to bind up a little bit on me, and it's going to kind of stick into a spot, and it's not going to want to move very easily. However, if you catch the material in one of the scallops, and what I mean by scallops is, coming close on the serrations here, one of the individual half moons there, it will be very effective, again, if you have a nice sharp serration. So first let's do the plain edge. Just make a few little passes here. See, nice and sharp, nice clean cuts, very little friction, very little resistance. Okay, now let's do the serrated portion of the blade. Let's get a nice fresh side here. Now here's the serrations. Now you see, extremely effective because I caught one of the, you can see a little piece of cardboard in there. I caught one of the little individual scallops. Now if I use the whole edge to cut, it kind of, actually it was pretty good in that little pass there, but let's try it again. Yeah, see, at first it wants to bind up, and then what happens is it skips into one of the individual scallops, and then it cuts like no tomorrow, as you can see there. So nice clean cut. Again, with the cardboard here, the plain edge is going to perform a little bit better most of the time. Again, it really all depends, but when you have a nice sharp knife, it shouldn't really matter. The problem I have with serrations is, not me personally, but when I suggest knives to people, is that serrations are very hard to sharpen for beginners. With this knife, there's really not a problem because you do have that full plain edge blade. So it shouldn't really be a big issue there. But anyway, just wanted to show you that with the performance on some cardboard. I thank you guys very much for watching, as always. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.